And this is the man whose feet to the fire Dereleen James, the ActionSA MP, is hoping to hold. Dereleen, good morning to you. Welcome to the program and thank you again for your time. You're up in Johannesburg today because you are hoping to be a part of this panel from the ad hoc committee that is going to be asking some tough questions of Vusimuzi Cat Matlala. We've seen you certainly do the same with people like IDAC's Andrea Johnson. We've seen you do the same with NPA head advocate Shamila Batoy. What do you want to know from Cat Matlala this morning? How important is he in the scheme of intrigue?
He's extremely good morning to you, Iman, and thank you so much for having me. I think if anything, I want to know from Cat Matlala, who are the people in government that enabled him to do what he has done? Who are the people in government that South Africans have trusted, that have betrayed the trust of South Africans, that has allowed this to happen under their watch? I think that is extremely important for me. It is that, and I think the fact that it is alleged that this person is part of drug cartels. Now, if you know my history, I'm very passionate when it comes to fighting substance use disorder within our communities. I think those are the very important things for me this morning to basically get answers on.
And I've covered a few of those outside broadcasts with you, Dereleen James, with the community members whose lives have been changed forever, negatively, tragically in many cases, by the scourge of drugs. So it's interesting to hear, and it stands to reason that you would be leaning in on those. But he has appeared as the central figure, a man who has wielded so much power when it comes to scoring special privileges with regards to the blue lights in the city of Ekurhuleni, scoring massive SAPS tenders, being embroiled in the Tembisa corruption scandal, which saw the taking of the life of whistleblower Babita Deokaran. For the rest of the country who's watching this unfold in terms of the work that you're doing in the ad hoc committee and what's unfolding in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, how important do you see these twin processes working together to get to the truth?
I think basically the one needs to inform and sort of prompt a criminal investigation. The one needs to prompt the hand of the NPA. The other one needs to prompt the one that we are serving on as the ad hoc. We need to basically look at what are the overall what are the things that we need to change within these departments? Who do we hold to account within government, if anything, as well? This is an eye-opener to South Africans to basically make better choices. This exposes the leadership of this country. I said yesterday when we received that letter from his lawyer saying that he's not ready, I said you cannot undermine the intelligence of a criminal. He's a mastermind, and obviously he's going to try all the tricks in the book to get away from this. But I think right now I have no expectations when it comes to today's session. When we get there, we will see what this man is up to, as well as his lawyers.
What scope does he have to avoid testifying? I mean, what do you understand from a legal perspective? If his lawyer says, well, he's not mentally well, he's emaciated, he hasn't been able to eat or sleep properly, he hasn't had access to the documents, what will you do with those quote-unquote reasons that his lawyer has already put forward?
Iman, that is utter nonsense, because I think if anything, he has been subjected and he has had the privilege of interacting almost daily with his legal team. So, the fact that he says he only has this legal team within the past few weeks and he has not ready to basically prepare. We know that that is the oldest trick in the book, but we also know that they can come forward like Nkabinde did and said, I didn't have access to my gadgets, so I cannot confirm. You don't need your gadgets to speak the truth. He can answer what he can remember, but I think if anything, if he refuses to respond to the ad hoc and answer our questions today, even though it's not question time, the SC will be leading evidence. It basically just shows South Africans that this man is then being further protected. We also need to remain mindful of the fact what General Konaze said in his interview is the fact that, the entire criminal justice system has been captured. This is almost like a Pablo Escobar. So it's going to be a really, really tough one.
So in other words, you're saying he's not going to get away with it and Parliament has powers to... does Parliament have powers to force him to testify?
Yes, we do have we do have powers. We can summons him, basically. We can have him arrested if he refuses to. Yes, we definitely do. And it is something that he possibly cannot undermine the authority of the state. And I think it's very frustrating for me. Even yesterday, when some of the MPs were saying it is okay, when he said he's not ready to appear, and people were saying it's okay even if he appears sort of next year. Imagine this man sort of undermining the authority of the state. That is just completely ridiculous.
But he's already arrested and behind bars. Do you mean that there could possibly be other charges added to his rap sheet?
Definitely. I think what we are seeing and what is unfolding and what we are listening and the evidence that we are getting at both these commissions has almost nothing to do. It tells you the extent of this criminal mastermind and his involvement in almost all of these departments, because every time someone appears before us, it's a new bombshell being dropped on South Africans, something that we need to probe further. I almost feel as if though these commissions are going to go on forever, but at some point we need to stop and sort of take firm decisions and act decisively.
Dereleen, a question has been, why did we need 11 MPs, I'm not sure what the number is now, to come to the Kgoshi Mampuru Correctional Facility? Couldn't this have been done another way? Maybe you can give us a sense of how much it actually cost. I mean, we'll talk about what you had said, that you paid for your own ticket because Parliament refused to pay. There was a response from Moloto Motapa, the parliamentary spokesperson. I'll put that to the side for now. But how much is it costing all of these MPs to come, to stay over these few days? Wouldn't there have been a better way to do this? Maybe even a Zoom call into the ad hoc committee? Did you need to be here physically?
Iman, I think since day one, that is the one question that we have posed as Action SA, and that is the information that hasn't been forthcoming to the committee in terms of how much is it costing us every day, not even just this trip, just for us to have these sessions at Parliament. How much are these delays costing us so that we are able to make better decisions as MPs serving on this committee? Yes, I think it was very much necessary to face this man face to face and have everyone I think the pressure hits differently when you're in a room with someone and taking testimony than via a Zoom call.
Dereleen, did you have to pay from your own pocket? I mean, you did say yesterday that Parliament refused to accommodate me to come to Pretoria. ActionSA SA will not be silenced. We're here at our own cost because we refuse to abandon our duty to expose the criminal capture of our country. Moloto Motapa said the claim is incorrect. No NP has been prevented from doing their work or barred from attending any committee meeting. They may attend. Parliament covers travel costs for full committee members. You are an alternate. How do you respond to that? What's the real deal here?
I am basically doing the work of Parliament. Parliament should have paid for my accommodation, and Parliament should have. Yes, we as MPs we do have our flights allocated to us. This is what I used, and Action SA had to pay for my accommodation. When it comes to the rules of Parliament and alternate members, it states there that alternate members just don't have voting powers, but they enjoy the same participation and engagement as all other members. So why did they not pay? This is not just something, an ordinary sort of committee that we are serving on. This needs all parties represented in Parliament to basically get to the truth. We already know that the 11 MPs basically that makes up the full-time members in this ad hoc committee are part of the GNU. And might I add, yesterday when we received this message, shockingly, there were actually some parties who were actually okay with the fact that when he said he's not ready to appear, it took opposition parties such as Action SA, such as the EFF, to actually prompt and force them and say, are you crazy? We are dealing with a criminal here that has basically captured the state, and here you are being okay with the fact that he says by 3 o'clock he'll take us to the courts. Let him take us to the court. And that is the importance of having the voice of the opposition seated at the table. And this is why, I was quite taken aback when Parliament said, we will not be paying for your flights. We will not be paying for your accommodation. Because if anything, everyone deserves a seat at the table towards finding and unpacking truth.
And as you say that the opposition leaders are bringing far more sort of fire to this. Dereleen, it's been a couple of weeks now. We've heard from Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. We've heard from Senzo Mchunu. We've heard from Andrea Johnson. There's someone who really wants to rev his bike behind me. Okay, it's a lovely bike, by the way. Nothing to do with what we're talking about, Dereleen. But we've heard from so many different people. What do you think is one of the overriding trends in testimony that you have heard so far? And what can we do at this stage? South Africans want to move beyond the conversation and the uncovering. They want to see charges put to people. They want to start seeing people put in handcuffs.
I think if anything that I have witnessed throughout this, and which has been extremely frustrating, people are very diplomatic when they come here and they just speak their truth. No one is prepared to account to what has unfolded. There's a lot of blame shifting on. Everyone says, no, that is not my responsibility. People are earning fat salaries and no one is being held accountable. There's no consequence management in any of these departments from any of these representatives that has come forward. We've heard from the deputy minister saying that they are actually waiting to be tasked by a minister, yet they have been in position for months on end, over a year, just doing basically having a busy calendar, but working towards absolutely nothing. So I think the common trend that we have seen is that no one seems to be taking accountability. Everyone still seems to be covering up for their seniors and for their bosses. You know, you ask simple, straightforward questions and you get taken on a journey to God knows where, and people just aren't responding to basically what they are being asked. So that is extremely frustrating for some of us serving on that committee.
Well, we watch the committee continue its work here at the Kgoshi Mampuru, the second correctional facility. We expect today's proceedings to get underway at 11, tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And Newsroom 405 has got you covered from all angles. It's back to Oak and it's time for a break.